Now let's go ahead and understand the coding side of this application, what we have done. And let me close all these tabs. So I have opened the application in the Sublime, and it will be much easier to open all the application and just go through, because I'm not going to do any development now in this application. This is just an video where I will be discussing what are the approaches what we have taken, and where you can basically find the gap to improve. So if you are interested, so first of all, I think what we have done is we have taken the semantic master and detail layout. So it's basically simple semantic master, and in the details we have pretty much the semantic details. We have object page section. As you can see, even Rabbit, the object page section was very good UI when we picked it up. We picked object page section. If I show you, is because we need to have all the components as you can see in the UI here. Plus we should be also able to have a better degree of control of the positioning, like the line we have drawn or the image we have added. They are all part of this object page section, and in the subsection I have placed this inside VBox and HBox and a lot of different variation of that hierarchy. So these are real data, and then this is basically coming out of the platform what we have, and this is the data which is acquired from the users which are using the platform. So all the data which we have is present inside this data main.json file. We have just put all the data in the JSON file, so for you it will be much easier to develop. And this is the entire data. You can take and also develop the application from your own site. Okay, so moving on from what are the main component we used the master and detail and object page section. Inside that you will find the subsection, a lot of hierarchy of the HBox and VBox. So Rabbit, HBox and VBox, do you know the difference between HBox and VBox? Okay, so don't stress yourself. The difference between HBox and VBox is if I want to keep two items, so these are two items, and I want to basically keep it on horizontally. So this should be the one item and the second item is next to it in a horizontal same line. Then I will be using a HBox and I will be placing them there. And if I want to make those two items come vertically, so this is how these two items are. So one item goes to top and the second one is bottom. Consecutively, if more item comes in, they come in the below section. And this particular arrangement is basically done with a VBox. And these are both type of your flex. And we have used a lot of HBox and VBox just to arrange and create the forms what we have now. And as you can see here that we are doing a data binding on the path basic. Path basic is basically contains all the courses one has to take to become UI5 end-to-end consultant or to reach to this goal. So this is all the courses which is coming under subsections, and inside there all the details has been taken care as well. Now one thing you will see that there is no formatter at this point. You can also refine the time that last updated 2016. So you can have a user-friendly text there that before 2 year or 2+ year old, or some of the text like that. So it can be done by calculating with the current date and the finding the difference and putting there that particular word of the difference in a very user-friendly text. So that can be one change which you can really work through as well. And you can basically just search this last updated. This is coming from a file here, the detail file. And one thing you can also do is we do have a I18N, and here you can basically, there are very less number of tags present. You can just move all this text into I18N as well. So this was done because this is just a beta and we launched it now for user to tell us if it's a good idea or bad idea. But at this point, I think there are small things which need to be fixed. One of those are this date and then I18N mentions to all the text labels. And then the next thing is you will see all these links and everything coming out from the data itself, the JSON data. And this is pretty much it. So at the footer, you will be finding a simple box. So this box basically will open our integration. So this particular can send mail to our mailbox directly. And that's done in the controller part here. If you see the detailed controller, so on selection press. So one thing which I found is I was not able to call the jQuery click event. So I just used the document get element by ID and then use the click event there. And I made the pop-up box appear. So if you go to the index page, in below there are few as well. This is the integration to our website box to collect messages or the feedbacks we have put here, and then we are just kind of clicking it with JavaScript, and that's what is going to happen once you fill the box, and a mail will be triggered to us as well. And then to enable this box, you should be also having the notification on. If notification is not on, the box will disappear. So we have also a small pop-up coming. Make sure the pop is enabled. So this is also pretty funny. Now, copyright text is just a standard text. It's a div which we have positioned in the below section here and try to match the color of the entire application. Now, some of the aspect of the development which you will be going or seeing here is if you go into the master detail layout, one thing which we probably saw is our data at this point, it's only about 750 lines. Once we add the project core is a big course, and it has in itself about 20 subsections, 20 plus. So the entire application was behaving very sluggishly. So that was the one thing. The other thing is you will notice that we have not added any callbacks where the UI will freeze while the time the data is loaded. So that is one of the things to also take care. So for example, what I'm saying is if you go to detail controller here, and what I'm doing here is I'm just on the init function taking the view, entire view with this .get view and putting it in the model view details. So in this way, I will not be kind of confused with the this pointer, because then I can directly get access to this view from the model with this name. So this is the name model which has this view. And also same thing in the master I'm doing. So on init, I will be putting this in the model, this reference to the master, and then this will be used to get access to the model and change the model or data binding. And whenever I select, then based on what I have selected, I will be changing the data path. So what is present in the data is, if you go from the top, there are basically path, and I will just minimize this. So there are basically 6 paths at this point. So these are 6 paths. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and everyone has their own title. SAP UI5 end-to-end consultant, UI5 front-end developer. You can see here if I expand it, UI5 front-end developer. And what we are basically doing is we are getting the path, or we are getting basically the title. You can see that this is one of the line at line number 31. What I have written might be a little confusing, is because in mobile device and in our desktop, there are 2 different functions where you will be getting the data. For example, what I'm saying is, if I go and look into on selection change in my master view, and here selection change event is triggered from the list, and what happens in the mobile is you will not find your get selected element functionality. So you have to basically get the data from get title, and we can check that with type of if get selected item is undefined, which is it's not going to be a function, then use this get title, which what mobile device will be taking. And if it's desktop and tablet, then get selected property and title will be taken. So that's how we can check that a object has an attribute or function with a name.